Fragments of the soul. Do you believe in the spiritual world? There are always spiritual forces around us. They always want to connect and infiltrate the human world. In this remote suburban area, I have encountered many strange and inexplicable events. Sometimes, only I can see them, and they linger in my mind. I was sleeping when I suddenly heard a noise. The family portrait on my wall fell down. I lay in bed, trying to sleep but couldn't. I felt a chill down my spine when I looked into the darkness, as if someone was there beside me. By morning, I was lying in bed, tears streaming down my face, not knowing why. My breath seemed to stop when I faced myself in the mirror. Suddenly, the eyes in the mirror changed, becoming fierce, with a gaze that seemed to pierce my soul. A faint sigh echoed from behind me, but when I turned around, there was no one there. The image in the mirror suddenly blurred and vanished in an instant. I stood there trembling, not knowing what had just happened. Sitting on the old leather chair, I held the glass of water with trembling, stiff hands, as if someone was controlling my every movement. The glass fell to the floor and shattered, but I didn't react. My mouth started to move, producing strange sounds. I stood up and walked stiffly and oddly, as if another personality had taken over my body. I felt the presence of another personality. Struggling to regain control, I breathed heavily. Finally, I collapsed, lying on the floor. The study was filled with chaos. The only sound was the ticking of the wall clock. I started typing continuously. The clattering sound from the keyboard echoed rhythm. On the screen, strange lines of text began to appear. I continued typing, and the strange lines kept appearing, growing denser and more frequent. I suddenly stopped, my eyes becoming vacant. It was as if I were entirely controlled by an invisible and powerful force. I stared at the small mirror on the dressing table, my eyes full of fear. The reflection in the mirror began to talk to me, telling me to do as it wished. Different personalities began to emerge from my mind. They started arguing, fighting for control over my body. One cried, begging for salvation. One remained silent, with cold eyes. One was furious, with blazing eyes. I tried to resist, but didn't know what was happening. Everything felt both real and unreal to the point that I couldn't control myself. I sat aimlessly on the chair and decided to see a doctor to find answers for myself. After many years of therapy, I began to understand each of my personalities better. I learned to recognize and communicate with them instead of letting them take control. After years of relentless effort, my personalities started to harmonize, no longer fighting for control. I began to live a normal life with less inner conflict.